We're going to begin this morning, as we so often do, by singing together. It's Come, Come, Whoever You Are. It's number 188 in the gray hymnal. The words will be on the screen, but they are very simple words that I think many of you know or can pick up quickly. So as soon as you know them, just allow the music to flow through you. Please rise in body and spirit to sing together. Come, come, whoever you are.
We're going to sing it all through once, and then we'll do it in a round.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of desire. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come yet again, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Come yet again, come.
In the words of Leslie Takahashi Morris, adapted from the words of Rumi that we just sang, come, come, whoever you are. Come with your hurts, your imperfections, your places that feel raw and exposed. Come, come, whoever you are. Come with your strengths that the world shudders to hold. Come with your wild imaginings of a better world. Come with your hopes that no one seems to want to hear. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, we will make a place for you. We will build a home together. Ours is no caravan of despair. We journey together. Come yet again, come. Come into this sanctuary, whether you are here with us in person or joining us in our online congregation this morning. Come into this community of loving seekers where we strive to live with integrity, nurture wonder, and inspire the actions that transform us and transform the world. I'm the Reverend Julia Hamilton. My pronouns are she, her, and I am glad to welcome you this morning into community, into necessary community in these times. Grateful that you have taken this moment to nurture your spirit and heart with us together this morning. If you're joining us for the first time, we would love to get to know you better. We would love to have you stop by the welcome table after the service if you're here in person, or click on the visitor link if you're joining us online so that we can keep connected with you, help you get acquainted with us, answer any questions you might have, and find out how to get involved here in this ever-bustling, ever-renewing congregation. And we are bustling as we turn the seasons and head into spring. You can feel that shift in our world and in the air. And we have a lot going on that I want to let you know about. One of them you will notice right away when you head out to coffee if you're here in person, and that is that we are switching back to being able to use our ceramic reusable mugs during coffee hour, which is fantastic. Ever since we were separate during the COVID shutdown and we came back, we've been using compostable disposables, but we're going back to the ceramics, which means it's a collaborative effort, y'all, which means there'll be a black tub for you to put your mugs in after you use them so that we don't have to play an Easter egg hunt for them at the end of every service. Please help our staff make this transition as smoothly as possible by helping out with this wherever you can. And join us for coffee in our reusable ceramic mugs today. We also have some things that are starting up their new session. You can find out more about that in the insert in your order of service or in the Friday email. That's a great place to see all the opportunities for getting connected beyond Sunday morning. Things like our community choir session, which is starting this Monday. So if you want to join one of our singing groups, this is the spring session of our community choir. All are welcome. You don't have to read music. You can just jump on in. And as always, all of our singing groups, including our chancel choir, welcome everyone. Whether you've been singing your whole life or just venturing forth for the first time, please come and sing with us. You can find out more by talking with Matthew. If you're feeling like you might need a little bit of respite this week, and I know many of us are, we have our Vespers service coming up on Tuesday evening, the 3rd. It says Wednesday in the printed announcement, but it's actually Tuesday at 6:15. The doors open at 6 o'clock, and Matthew and I will be leading the service this week, and we are going to structure this around peace, creating a space of peace, creating a place to rest in the world for an evening. We'll have candlelight, we'll have simple songs and silence and readings. It's a wonderful place to gather in these chaotic times. So please join us for our once a month First Tuesday Vespers service. Now, of course, I'm not involved in everything that's going on around here, so I want to invite someone special to come and share with us about what some of the kids in RE are doing. So Dylan Stewart, are you going to come forward with some news for us? Come on up.
You got it? You want me to hold this?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, you have to hold it like a, yeah, there you go.
My name is Dylan Stewart, and I'm here to tell you all about the Children's RE Faith in Action Food Drive. We are collecting food for La Casa de la Raza's food delivery program. In February, we asked you to donate rice and beans.
We got a lot. Thank you all. In March, we're asking for donations of cooking oil and sugar. All donations will be delivered to the immigrant families in our community. Thank you.
This service, we're going to be talking a lot about what service learning means. And one of the reasons we're bringing this up is because we are preparing to bring another group of volunteers to go to the Hopi and Navajo reservations at the end of this month. And we have a special opportunity connected to this trip. I'd like to invite Amber forward to share about that.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. One of the ways that we raise money to help our youth go to the Hopi and Navajo reservations is via a raffle. And it looks like we have an example here of some of Dee Satella's pottery. And we will have an item, not this item, right? This one belongs to you personally. But we will have an item that is our main gift prize reward for supporting the trip. Really, it's a fundraiser, so we'll talk about how you can give, but there is a raffle for a different piece of pottery that will be on display next week. And I have asked, because I am part of a team of folks, and Trace is my leader in this raffle, but is unfortunately sick today, I've asked Reverend Julia to be my stand-in support. I want to tell you about how you can donate to the raffle. So we did great last year. Of course, our aim is to grow our raffle earnings. We're going to be selling tickets this week, next week, and you can see some of the gifts on display, and then the following week we'll do the drawing on March 15th. So pricing, one ticket, and they're starting for sale, look for me after in the coffee hour. One ticket is $5. You get a little price bump and a ticket bonus if you spend $20, so you get 5 for $20. And here's where the real deal comes in. Okay, so I suggested that we do a real fun incentive for folks, and this is not, it's one of those demos, I feel like. There's a giant staple in my way.
You explain it while I take out the staple.
Okay, thank you. It's a little
Takes a
tricky.
village.
Okay, here's the deal. So if you go at the $40 level and you invest, what we decided your number of tickets should be is not a few extra, but in fact, the number of tickets that matches the height of either yourself or whoever you designate. So I recommend that you find your tallest friend, and bring them to the booth, and we will measure that person. And in fact, everyone stand up right now. Play along. Come on, it's fun. Look around. Figure out who you're going to befriend today at Happy Coffee Hour. And let's see how tall is my friend Julia up here. I mean, that's a lot of tickets right there, right? So we are trying to incentivize you gifting at that higher level. And we take Venmo. We've got QR codes. Nothing's stopping you. Thank you. I'll see you after service. And I'll have a baby goat. So really, there's no downside.
That is extra incentives to stop by the booth. I will just repeat the fact that Amber is fostering a baby goat named Valentina, who has been a member of our congregation for the past few weeks, coming to the services from time to time and brightening up committee meetings, I can tell you that. So if you stop by, you might also get to pet a baby goat. What an amazing community we have here at the Unitarian Society. My goodness. My goodness. I invite you now to take a breath, to center yourself in this moment, to allow yourself to feel fully whatever it is you bring in with you. You don't have to set it outside, but bring your full self in here with you this morning. Give yourself the gift of this hour in community as we ring our bell and let the sound connect us. Before I invite our worship associate, Alex, to share our words for chalice lighting, I want to tell you a little bit about this very special chalice we have here with us this morning. As Amber mentioned, this chalice was created by Dee Satella, who is a traditional Hopi potter, has become a close friend of us and the congregation. It is at Dee's property where we camp when we visit the Hopi reservation. And when I say Dee is a traditional Hopi potter, I mean that he creates his works from the very beginning all the way to the very end through the natural materials he has access to on his land. He digs and processes the clay. He makes the pigments from plants and stones that he gathers, including even his paintbrush made from a yucca stem. He molds the clay, he paints it, and he fires it in an outdoor fire with a sheep dung pyre. And at some point, some of you may have seen photos of this. He often does a demonstration when we're visiting. It is truly a remarkable work that he does, a tradition that he inherited from his mother and his grandmother. His sister is a potter, his brother is a potter, and he is committed to carrying on this work. And several years ago, members of my family commissioned a chalice from Dee as a present. He has made a chalice for himself that he has in his own living room. That is now part of his life as well. It is something that connects us across the distance between here and Arizona. And because we are going to be heading out at the end of this month with our most recent group of service trip travelers, we're going to be using this chalice all month to help hold the flame of this community as we go forth and return. So I'd like to invite Alex for our words for chalice lighting.
Today's chalice lighting is by Crystal Hogan. We light this chalice to honor our work, to celebrate our community, and to bring hope and determination to our mission in the wider world.
We have another flame to kindle this morning, and we light our candle of memory this morning for Stuart Brandt. Our candle of memory is the flame we kindle whenever a dear member of this community dies, and we light this flame in honor of their work and their life among us. And this morning we remember Stuart who has sung in our choir for many years, Stuart who has helped make this sanctuary beautiful by bringing his skills of painting and restoration, redoing the niche here when it needed it, showing some tender, loving care to this space we share. He was also had a deep practice of meditation and was a member of the Vedanta temple as well, brought a deep spirituality, a spiritual seeker his whole life long, and a partner to Bruce Daniels, who he met singing in the choir here at the Unitarian Society. We will be holding a service of memory and celebration for Stuart later on this month. But right now, I invite you to hold Stuart in your heart, extend our care to Bruce and Stuart's family and all of those who are grieving his loss, and take a moment of quiet among us as we remember him and all of those who have made their home here with us for a time and on whose shoulders we rest. Blessings on your journey, Stuart.
Each week, we lift up one good thing in our community or in the larger world. Today, I'd like to invite us into a practice that we share in CRE with our youth. We go around, and each person actually shares one good thing that happened in their own lives that week. It can be big or small. Sometimes, it's as simple as spending time with a friend or enjoying a nice treat. So for the next minute or so, please turn to someone near you, and if you have a good thing to share, please do so. And when we'll ring the bell in a minute or so to bring us back together. Thank you. My good thing is Brett and I got free ice cream. So they're doing it all of February. So if you show your library card, you get free ice cream.
All right, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your good things with one another. And I encourage you to continue the conversation afterwards at coffee hour or in your week to come, to keep sharing out those good things so we can be reminded that goodness does rise up in this world all around us, even with all of the other horrible things that we have to encounter. That does not erase or negate the good that we find. And one of the good things we do here on the first Sunday of every month is a birthday blessing for those of you who are celebrating March birthdays. And this is March 1st, our first Sunday, which means that if you have a March birthday, I'd like to invite you to come up. We're going to pass around the microphone and ask you to say your name. If you want to, you don't have to. Your name and the day you were born. And if you want to tell us how old you are, you can, so that we can give you some birthday love this morning. So come on up if you have a birthday. I know Simon's not the only one. All of our March birthdays. And if you're joining us at home and you want to log into the chat and have a birthday that you're celebrating, go ahead and type in those birthdays in the chat so we can all see them. Come on up and just kind of form a little group up here for our March birthday babies. Fantastic. And we've got some birthday stars that Dylan's going to help hand out. So after you say your name, Dylan's going to come along and give you a birthday star that you can stick wherever you like.
Hi, my name is Blaze. My birthday is March 18th, and I'm going to be turning 20.
Hi, my name is Joan Ariel. On March 22nd, I will gratefully enter my 9th decade, if it's also a bit daunting, I have to say.
Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm March 7th and will be 43. I'm starting to get to that point where I'm losing track.
I'm Lynn Hannay, and I'm mother-in-law to Oliver, and gratefully. And I was born March 17th on St. Patrick's Day, but did not get the name Pat or Aaron. I got Lynn instead. And I will be turning the great 8-0 this year.
My birthday was in February, but I wasn't here, so my name's Carver, and I turned 11 on February 17th.
My name is Simon, and I turning not 6 on March 9th.
Hi, I'm Linda, and my birthday is on March 19th, and I'll be turning 65.
My name is Catherine Callahan. My birthday is March 25th. I will be 76.
I'm Susie DuPont. My birthday is March 20, and I'll be 76 too.
My name is Jeanette. I'll be 90 on March 16.
My name is Deji, and I just learned I share a birthday with Simon, so March 9th, and I will be 48, and I'm very excited about that because it's divisible by lots of other numbers.
I'm Gail Stitchler. My birthday is March 7, and I'll be 78.
Good morning. I'm Lou, and my birthday is March 14th, and I will be 76. I was born in 1950. I always have to think. Thank you.
Let's take a moment and send all of our love and goodwill to these March birthdays and some February birthdays thrown in for good measure. All of those folks who are here with us in body and spirit, near and far. And may this coming year unfold for you with joy and wisdom and compassion. May your mind grow alive with the wonder of the world. May your heart crack open with the beauty of it. The world is a richer place because you are in it. Happy birthday. We are going to join together in song once more. Rise in body and spirit. We are going to sing number 315, This Old World. Our singers are going to come forward and help lead us. Number 315, the words are on the screen. This is a tune that might be new for some of you, but it's a tune that is easy to pick up and follow along. This Old World.
Will come. Good morning, everyone. It is that time in our service when I like to invite children of all sizes and all ages to come forward. But wait, Simon, there are going to be some slides that you're going to be able to look at. So you might want to just squeeze in along that front pew or stand right over there so you can see. Or you can move over there when the slides start. Great to see all of you. Great, okay. So Reverend Julia asked me to tell a story about service learning this morning. So what is service learning? Well, I thought about it, and I think it's when we put our faith into action, kind of like our food drive, and help change the world and change ourselves. Remember the Kids Farmers Market, the sock drive for the Freedom Warming Center? You guys, some of you remembering these things? And our Faith in Action food drive that Dylan announced this morning. And coming soon, our Easter Hunt for Justice. Well, all of those are acts of service that all of the kids in RE get to participate in. You guys do a lot of service over the year. Being of service, helping people or animals or the planet helps change the world. But it does it in kind of a funny way. Because being of service means we have to be willing to be changed too. We have to learn to be patient because changing the world takes a really long time. We have to have faith that what we are doing matters because sometimes it doesn't feel like it does matter. And that's okay. I just lost my place, sorry. And we have to let our hearts be broken open. And that means we might feel sad or angry sometimes, and that's okay too. Because when our hearts are broken open, we also get to feel more joy and more love. One kind of service learning is taking service trips, which all of you, if you stick around, will get to do here at the Unitarian Society as you get a little older. Some of you have already done one. Just last weekend, 4 teenagers and a few adults from our congregation went on a service trip to an immigration shelter in Mexicali, Mexico. And we're going to share some pictures from our trip right now, so you can look over at that slideshow. Yeah, you all can sit down on the ground so people can see. So last Saturday, we walked across the border into Mexicali with suitcases full of clothes, towels, toiletries, art supplies, and toys. We spread everything out on tables for people to take. We heard stories about how families ended up at the shelter. We participated in a special church service led by Theo Patterson, our friend from Trinity Episcopal. We had lunch together and played games with the kids. This is my 4th time there, and I am always changed by the experience. I always leave with my heart broken open just a little more. And there are a couple of you here, Everett and Olivia. Can you kind of come over here for just a second? Yeah. Everett and Olivia went on this trip, and this was their first time. And I wonder if you could just share with me a little bit about how it changed you.
I felt happy because even with what little they've got, they still find joy in whatever they have.
Like, I was expecting them to, not be happy or something. But, they were so happy and full of joy, and it was, really an amazing experience.
Thanks, you guys. It really changed all of us, didn't it? So we gave and received love, all of us who were there that day. The families and the staff at the shelter, the badass Border Compassion nuns, and us. Love. That's kind of what Unitarian Universalism is all about. Love is at the center of everything we do. I just want to thank Amber Asher for that beautiful slideshow. Thank you, Amber. And that was our time for all ages. So the kids, you're going to go out a different way today. You're going to follow Charlie right out that side door over there. We've got a lot of rice and beans to put together this morning.
As we begin our time of prayer and meditation and reflection, we begin, as we do each week, by honoring the butterflies that we add to our monarch branch. Each butterfly on this branch represents someone who is abducted from our community by ICE over the past year, and this week we add 5 butterflies to remember the people abducted from Santa Barbara County over the past couple of weeks. We are one human family, and we commit to bearing witness until this violence against our neighbors ends. And so we ring our bell 5 times and hold all those who are hurting and seeking safety in our hearts. As we gather this morning, we gather under a new cloud of the violence that has broken open with the attack on Iran this weekend. We gather under the shadow of war once again. We gather in this holy month of Ramadan, which we will be talking more about next week, but acknowledging that it is a particularly painful time to see this violence erupt on the other side of the globe. We know that nothing that happens far away stays separate, but that it touches all of us. And we come into this space holding all of that with us. And so as I reflected on how we make space for peace amidst this violence, I asked Matthew for our prayer and meditation this morning if we could sing Dona Nobis Pacem. Many of you might know this. It's just a very simple words. We don't even need to put the lyrics up on the screen. It's just Dona Nobis Pacem, which means, which means we gather for peace. So let us sing. Matthew will lead us. Just pick it up if you know the simple song. If you know rounds or other melodies or harmonies, feel free to join in. Stay right where you are.
Good morning again. When our Mexicali travelers teamed up with the teens and adults from Trinity Episcopal for our service trip last weekend, we were under no illusion that we were saviors. It would take a lot more than a few suitcases of towels and toiletries and a single afternoon at the shelter to make a big difference in the lives of the people we met. So why do we go? In the words of UU theologian Rebecca Parker, there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who can call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness. We hear heartbreaking stories on our trips. On this trip, we met a young Honduran family who had been living in Denver until about a month ago, when the father, whose name was Arbid, was picked up by ICE on his way to work and deported back to Honduras. His wife, Diana, and 2 young children had to make the choice to leave the U.S. in order to keep the family together. The family endured a harrowing journey to make it to La Cobina, where they are living now. They hope to make a life in Mexico. Sister Suzanne is already trying to line Arbid up with a job with a roofing company. We bring their names, faces, and story back home with us and share it to bring greater and greater awareness to the plight of immigrants. Stories have the capacity to ripple out into the world, shining a light on that which needs love and attention. It is our duty to share what we have seen and know to be true in our hearts. Service learning is not about saving people. It is about connecting with people. On this trip, Sister Suzanne Jabro, the chief inviter and crossover guide, her title, with Border Compassion, invited Theo Patterson, my colleague from Trinity Episcopal, to distribute ashes and blessings for the start of Lent, since Ash Wednesday was earlier that week. We called it an Ash Saturday service. It was beautiful, and although receiving a cross of ashes on our foreheads may not be part of our faith tradition, many of us joined the line to receive the ashes in solidarity. We are all a part of the human family, and all of us can use a blessing and a reminder of our shared humanity. As Theo said in his blessing, we all come from love and dust, and we will all return to love and dust. Father Greg Boyle, founder of Homeboy Industries, writes in his book, Barking to the Choir, "In the end, the measure of our compassion lies less in our service of those on the margins and more in our willingness to see ourselves in kinship with them. It speaks of a kinship so mutually rich that even the dividing line of service provider, service recipient is erased. We are sent to the margins not to make a difference, but so the folks on the margins will make us different. We are changed by bearing witness. We cannot help but be changed by meeting people who have lived through unspeakable trauma with no idea of what tomorrow may bring for their family. We are compelled to do what we can do, no matter how small." After visiting the shelter, our group gathered in the evening to reflect on our experience, what we learned, and how it changed us. It has become one of our traditions on this trip to light a chalice on those evenings with these words by 19th century Unitarian Edward Everett Hale: "I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something I can do." So why is service learning so important, and does it really make a difference in the world? In her book, Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds, author Adrienne Marie Brown lays out several principles for creating change. Here are three that particularly resonate with me. She says, "Move at the speed of trust. Focus on critical connections more than critical mass. Build the resilience by building the relationships. Less prep, more presence. And what you pay attention to grows." Critical connections. Over these past 5 years, we have built critical connections with Sister Suzanne Jabro and Border Compassion, Trinity Episcopal Church, and the Church of the Beatitudes. These partnerships have blossomed into relationships of trust and care, enabling us to work nimbly and cooperatively to provide aid and witness to people in dire need of both. Less prep, more presence. When Anna DeStefano, Deb Karoff, John Altman, and Linda Beers traveled to the shelter back in 2021, I think. Am I right, John? Yeah, back in 2021. Sister Suzanne introduced them to a young lesbian couple with a 2-year-old daughter. Sister Suzanne knew what she was doing, knew she might just be building a critical connection for this family. She didn't come with a plan, just an invitation to connect and connect they did. When the family legally crossed the border about a month later and moved to Stockton, the relationship between our USSB travelers and this young family deepened. Joan Ariel, Ellen Broidy, and others from our Justice and Equity team joined in support of this family. Eventually, the USSB Immigration Justice Fund was founded to help support this work with them and families like them. No one knew how this relationship would unfold when they first met, but everyone stayed present until a plan emerged. The relationship deepened into a shared kinship that continues today. This is how service learning works. This is what can emerge when you bear witness. This is what can blossom when you move at the speed of trust. What we give our attention to grows. We cannot do everything, but we can do something. As Adrienne Marie Brown says, small is good, small is all. Kindness and compassion ripple outward. Critical connections and deep relationships take time and loving care, and they too can grow into more and more connections. I've focused on our congregation's relationship with La Cobina Posada here, but the same things are true about our relationship with the Hopi. And I'm really excited I'm joining Julia and 17 other travelers on my first trip to the Hopi and Navajo reservations at the end of this month. I look forward to the connections we will make and the ways we will be changed. As Father Greg Boyle says, we always seem to be faced with this choice, to save the world or savor it. I want to propose that savoring is better, and that when we seek to save and contribute and give back and rescue folks and even make a difference, then it's all about you, and the world stays stuck. USSB strives to nurture many relationships of care beyond our service trips. Our partnerships with the Freedom Warming Centers, SB TAN, PFLAG, Showers of Blessings, 805 UndocuFund, SB Resiste, and more are a testament to prioritizing critical connections over critical mass, kinship over saving. May we continue to do the something we can do. May we continue to learn and be changed by service. I'll close with one more quote from Father Greg Boyle. How do we tame this status quo that lulls us into blindly accepting the things that divide us and keep us from our own holy longing for the mutuality of kinship, a sure and certain sense that we belong to each other? Thank you.
I have a reading that I would like to share about what has helped shape my understanding of what service learning is that Charla so eloquently shared about. It's by Rachel Naomi Remen, who is a physician and an author and a teacher. And she says, service is not the same as helping. Helping is based on inequality. It's not a relationship between equals. When you help, you use your own strength to help someone with less strength. It's a one-up, one-down relationship, and people feel this inequality. When we help, we may inadvertently take away more than we give, diminishing the person's sense of self-worth. Serving is also different from fixing. We fix broken pipes. We don't fix people. When I said about fixing another person, it's because I see them as broken. Fixing is a form of judgment that separates us from one another. It creates distance. So fundamentally, helping, fixing, and serving are ways of seeing life. When you help, you see life as weak. When you fix, you see life as broken. And when you serve, you see life as whole. Service is a relationship between equals. Our service strengthens us as well as others. Fixing and helping are draining, and over time we may burn out, but service is renewing. When we serve, our work itself will renew us. Fixing and helping create a distance between people, an experience of difference. We cannot serve at a distance. We can only serve that to which we are profoundly connected, that which we are willing to touch. We serve life not because it is broken, but because it is holy. We may help or fix many things in our lives, but when we serve, we are always in the service of wholeness. So ends our reading.
Each month, we donate 25% of our offertory to a worthy cause. This month, we'll be raising money for our children's Egg Hunt for Justice. This is an annual event where the kids of our congregation get to pick causes that are meaningful to them, and donations are made by way of an Easter egg hunt in the courtyard. Please join me in reading our affirmation of giving. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share our gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And for our needs, so that we will learn.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
Well, let that lonely feeling wash away. Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand. And oh,
someone will come running,
and I know
they'll take you home.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. 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 There's a place where we don't have to feel unknown. And every time that you call out, you're a little less alone.
If you'll only say the word,
From across the silence, your voice is heard. Oh, to take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you to carry you. When you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You are not alone. 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 Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need someone to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. Even when the dark comes crashing through, you will be found. When you need someone to carry you, you will be found. You will be found.
Amazing musicians we have here in this congregation. Thank you for that gift of music that you have shared with us this morning. So there's this tendency you may have noticed in Unitarian Universalism to describe ourselves by what we are not. This is understandable. So much of what we have seen done in the name of religion in the world disturbs us. We are not that is often our first impulse when asked to define what it is that we are all about. So much of what we have experienced in the name of religion has hurt us, and we want to distance ourselves from that. We are not the thing that hurt us, that hurt those we love, is an understandable response. It's much harder sometimes to articulate what we are. In all my years, nothing has helped clarify what my faith is quite like the service learning trips that I have participated in and led over the years. After all, it's hard enough to explain Unitarian Universalism to someone in a shared cultural context. And when you throw in language differences and cultural differences, it gets even harder. First, we have that long name, right? That you usually have to repeat more than once. And when I run into someone here in Santa Barbara and they ask what Unitarian Universalism is, perhaps I might say something like this. Well, you know, we have our roots in the Protestant tradition, but over the past century we have evolved into a very pluralistic faith. We are a progressive religion with room for humanists and atheists and agnostics and people from Jewish and Buddhist and Muslim and Hindu backgrounds, and that's not to mention the religious naturalists among us. And at that point, the person's eyes start to glaze over, and I try to bring it back home, but we share common values of love and justice and the worth and dignity of all people. And hopefully that hits home and brings them back around. But all of these words, all of these explanations of our faith with this very long name, I have learned to hold very lightly when traveling. These words don't make much sense when you are sitting next to a Hopi elder at the end of the day after working on a roof, looking out over the desert where her ancestors have lived for nearly 1,000 years, and she tells you about being sent away to a boarding school as a girl, away from everything she ever knew, stripped of her language and religion and family, only to find her way back to this spot where she prays at sunrise every morning for all of us, she tells me, for the whole world. And then she turns and says, "So, you're a minister, like in a church? What church are you a part of?" And talking about the Protestant Reformation at that point seems inadequate. Or when you're sharing a meal with someone who has traveled for weeks or months across continents by foot and train and bus and truck on a journey of survival with only what they could carry, that and the hope in their heart. And they speak a language that you only have bits and pieces of, and they learn you're a minister, and they call you sister and ask you to share a prayer with them, and all of a sudden you have to refigure your entire relationship with the idea of Jesus and Mary and all the saints. And along the way, you realize you have your own prayers for humanity and your own journeys of survival. And all you need to say in that moment is that love is what brings us together. And because of that love, we want to try and build a better world. Sometimes what matters is not so much being able to articulate what we do and don't believe in, but rather understand within ourselves what we are for, what calls us out of our comfort zone into the world. And the answer I keep coming back to over and over again is another big term: collective liberation. Love calls us out of our isolation and into the work of collective liberation, the idea that none of us are free until all of us are free. Collective liberation, which means that when the conditions of our lives and the identities we inhabit do not limit our ability to thrive and survive. Not just for some of us, but for all of us. We get free together. As the famous quote from an Aboriginal activist group in Queensland, Australia says, "If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." So we have to get together. We have to find each other. Find each other, as we just sang. We have to get out of the bubbles that naturally form around us, our everyday paths that take us from home to work, to friends, to family, maybe here to the Unitarian Society on Sundays and back home. If we want to get free, we have to get together outside of these established routines. Now, there's nothing wrong with having established routines, right? It's how we live as human beings. Finding comfort in the familiar, developing habits, this is not a problem in and of itself. If we didn't have familiar places and habits, if we had to make every decision like it was the first time we're making that decision every single day, we would be too exhausted to do anything else. But if we want to expand our understanding of the world and ourselves, if we want to work for collective liberation for a purpose larger than ourselves, if we want to be of service in the way that Dr. Remmer talked about it, sometimes we have to move intentionally outside of our bubbles and well-worn paths. Which is why I think Rumi sings with praise for the wanderer, for the lover of leaving, like the song we sang at the opening of this service. The spiritual path requires us to wander from our familiar landscape into unknown territory from time to time. But how we do it matters. How we get together across differences of identity and lived experience and historical harm, how we get together in ways that liberate us, that free us. Instead of reinforcing old patterns of oppression, it matters that we do this work thoughtfully and with care. Which is why Charlotte and I wanted to lead the service together this morning, because whether you're going on any one of these trips or not, you are part of this work. And we must do it together, thoughtfully and with care. When we talk about service learning, about leaving our familiar routines to intentionally learn through service to and with others, we can't just head out into the road with good intentions and a full tank of gas. And this is where Rachel Naomi Remen's words have helped shape my understanding. I first came across her work about 12 years ago when I was brought in as part of a small team of people to help draft a service learning framework for the UU College of Social Justice. The tagline for the College of Social Justice is experiential learning for spiritually grounded activism. And they work to connect Unitarian Universalists to this opportunity to serve in all kinds of ways. And I had led several service trips back to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, and I had worked deeply on a curriculum about UU social justice history, and so I was thrilled to be working with this organization whose whole mission was to better equip people for experiential learning opportunities. And one of the other members of the team brought Remen's essay to share with us, and it became a core part of the framework that we used, this distinction between helping and fixing and serving. That's why we don't call them fixing trips. They're service learning trips. Dr. Remen is not a theologian, at least not by trade. She is first and foremost a physician. But her grandfather was an Orthodox rabbi whose stories shaped her worldview at a young age. And later in life, her work with cancer patients and her own diagnosis with Crohn's disease transformed her understanding of what it meant to be in a healing profession. And in her essay, where she talks about this, she tells the story of an emergency room doctor and the sudden delivery of a baby one night in the ER. The baby came quickly, and before he knew it, he was holding this newborn and cleaning her nose with one of those little squeezy bulb things. And suddenly, this baby opened her eyes and looked right at him. And Remen writes, in that instant, Harry stepped past all of his training and realized a very simple thing, that he was the first human this baby girl had ever seen. He felt his heart go out to her in welcome from all people everywhere, and tears came to his eyes. Harry has delivered hundreds of babies and has always enjoyed the excitement of making rapid decisions and testing his own competency. In the past, he has been preoccupied with his expertise, assessing and responding to needs and dangers. He had been there many times as an expert, but never before as a human being. It seems that in that moment, Harry and the baby met each other as equals, as fellow humans, not as the strong doctor and the weak infant dependent on his care, but as two whole and holy creatures brought together. And in that moment, Harry was serving the infant, not helping her or fixing her, and being in service to the well-being of this child, recognized that what he was really doing was being in service to the well-being of humanity as a whole. Dr. Remen goes on to say, service is not an experience of strength or expertise. Service is an experience of mystery, surrender, and awe. Servers may experience from time to time a sense of being used by larger unknown forces. Those who serve have traded a sense of mastery for an experience of mystery, and in doing so have transformed their work and their lives into practice. This world seems like it wants to push us towards mastery all the time, right? That the ultimate goal of life is being in control, being the boss. Service learning is an opportunity for counter-programming. It's a chance to embrace mystery over mastery and be reminded that the world is so big and the scope of human experience is so vast that humility is the only rational response. And any expertise we gain is highly local. And what connects us is not what we know, but how we come into proximity with one another and how we treat each other when we are there in that moment together. And when we participate in service learning as a congregation, these learnings from the trips, they're not owned by the individuals traveling, but brought back to enrich our whole community. Our congregation becomes in that proximity, across that table of life with those who may be physically distant, but whose lives and stories are now bound up with our own. And the future we are able to create together shifts because of that proximity. On every service trip I've ever taken, there's always a point at which it becomes clear how limited my own understanding actually is. But at the same time, that awareness of those limitations don't diminish the value of the experience or the connection that is possible between human beings. Our human relationships, thankfully, are not dependent upon us knowing everything about each other, or we would be in big trouble. But rather, it's about how we treat each other despite the gaps in our knowing. It reminds me of the poem by Wendell Berry, The Real Work. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And that when we no longer know which way to go, we have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings. And I'll close with sharing this memory from one night on the Hopi Reservation on one of the early trips. And we are camping at the property of our host, Dee Satella, and it's rugged and it's cold. And Dee has no electricity or running water. And there are not many other houses nearby, so there's no lights to dim the night sky. And everyone is in their tents, and I walk a little way out into the desert to get a clear view. Visiting Hopi is this immersive experience. Even though we are officially still in the state of Arizona, the whole cultural landscape has changed. Language and social cues and family relationships and laws and traditions and even the aesthetic of what is displayed in people's homes, everything is new and unfamiliar. And it's tiring being in that kind of environment. And for a few days, it had been like diving into the deep end of a pool. And so as I'm standing there, I'm humbled by how I have barely the faintest idea of what is going on around me most of the time on this trip. And I feel the weight of this history that is ever present, but is completely outside of my scope of knowing. And as I look up in the night sky, I'm overwhelmed by this feeling of being a guest. Not just at Dee's, not just at the Hopi Reservation, but on the earth itself. And that weight shifts somehow. It becomes bearable when I release myself from the need to know what is going on at all times and allow myself to be simply present to what is, whether knowable or not. Like the stars in the sky, real and present and mysterious all at the same time. And as I walk back past the tents of the others, past the quiet giggling from some of the youth who will no doubt be very tired the next morning, I realize that although I am having this feeling of being a guest, there is not that loneliness that I often have felt in those kinds of moments, because everyone, everywhere is in the same boat, that same blue boat as we sing in one of our favorite hymns. And when we return home after having dropped off boxes of food and painted an outhouse and patched up a roof, simple things that need to be done, and so we do them, I carry with me that guest feeling home too. Even here, where I have lived for so long, I remember that even here there is more mystery than mastery, even in the habits and routines that make up my daily life. So if someone asked me now what Unitarian Universalism is, I would say, we are a faith that teaches us that what brings us closer together is not what we believe, but how we choose to live. Called by love to be in service to one another, knowing that our liberation is bound up together. Called by love to be in service to one another, knowing that our liberation is bound up together. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Sing our closing song, 128, For All That Is Our Life. Please rise in body and spirit.
For all
right where you are, and if you want to put your hands over your heart, or if you want to ask and hold hands with the person next to you, or hold them open wherever you are in this space or beyond this space, however it is you get connected, you get in proximity. And as you go out into this beautiful and heartbreaking world, may the light of love shine upon you, out from within you, be gracious unto you, and bring you peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And let us call a blessing.
Yeah, that's the ticket. Honestly,